Hi, welcome to this week's episode of Made for More. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing something pretty interesting and maybe a little bit controversial because there's one mindset that has spread over a long time concerning this particular issue, and it's the issue of getting out of your comfort zone. Now, I know that a lot of people have been taught not to stay in their comfort zone. A lot of people have been taught to get out of their comfort zone because being in your comfort zone limits your possibilities and your potentials. But in today's episode, I want to teach you something a little bit different. Instead of getting out of your comfort zone, a better option would be expanding your comfort zone. Yes, so in today's episode, I'm telling you that you do not need to get out of your comfort zone. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but stay tuned and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the first place to start would be understanding what comfort zone actually means. So what does this word or this phrase comfort zone mean? Your comfort zone is the environment or the mind space where you feel safe, where you can operate without exerting too much mental or emotional energy or strength. Your comfort zone is where you are used to, where you are comfortable with, from the word comfort. Your comfort zone, in your comfort zone, you don't exert too much energy, too much effort, because you're already used to everything that is in that particular environment. It could be a mental space, it could be a workspace, it could be at home, it could be in any area of your life. So in any area, any environment where you feel most at ease, where you feel comfortable, where you're not stressed, you're not anxious, you don't have feelings of not being able to perform, that space is your comfort zone. Now, another thing that is worthy to mention is man was created to thrive and not to struggle, right? God created man to be able to attain the peak of his potentials. Man was created to be able to attain the peak of his potentials and not to strive or struggle, but to thrive and be in control of his environment, right? A few things went wrong and then man began to struggle. Now, God wants every single person that he has created to actually achieve the peak of his potential. So you are supposed to achieve the peak of your potentials, not strive or struggle. But most times we have limited ourselves to a particular environment, to a particular way of doing things, right? To a particular space. So every single time you try to do something outside of what you're used to, you get scared, you become anxious, and sometimes you tell yourself, I cannot do it. So you've created a reality for yourself that your comfort zone, that is the area where you feel at ease, the areas where you're not stressed, you're not tense, you're not anxious, you've limited it to a very, very small space. So whenever you step outside of it, you feel all of these emotions that you do not like to feel. For instance, you could be good at speaking, but because you've limited yourself to speaking to 5, 10, 20 people, when an opportunity comes for you to speak to a crowd of 100 or 1,000, all of a sudden you feel that you're not capable of accomplishing that task. Now that is because your comfort zone is too small. Now, when you step outside of your comfort zone, you feel these emotions of stress, anxiety, confusion. When you stay in that environment of stress, anxiety, and confusion for too long, you might have a breakdown. And that is why I'm teaching that you do not necessarily have to abandon what you're comfortable with, what you're at ease with, and try to do something that you're absolutely a stranger to. But you can expand your comfort zone little by little by taking certain steps, such that you now have many more things, right, that you're comfortable around, you're comfortable doing, or you're comfortable with than you used to. Now I want you to think about this. The fish is made for the ocean. If you take a fish out of the ocean and you place it on the land, after a few minutes or after a little while, that fish is going to die because the fish is not made for the land, it is made for the water, right? Now the fish might have been in a jar of water or a small body of water, right? When that fish is taken out of that small body of water and put in a bigger body of water, it might be a little bit uncomfortable for a while. But if that fish stays in that new environment long enough, it will survive. Why? Because it is made for water. Look at the birds. The birds are made to fly. They are made for the sky. If you put a bird in a position where it can't fly, it's not able to express the reason why it was created. It's not able to be free, to be at ease. That bird will be tense, stressed, and anxious. And after a while, the bird might die. The bird will not be able to, live its length, the usual length of time that it's created or it's meant to be able to live. The monkeys are made for the trees. The monkey is most at ease when it's able to jump from one tree branch to another. If you take the monkey from that environment and you put it in a place where it's constricted and it's not able to move and jump, you are limiting the ability of that creature. Now, you as a human being, you need to be able to identify the environment where you thrive. You need to be able to identify the kind of space that allows you to unearth and express the peak of your potentials, right? So I'm going to share in this episode 2 things that you can begin to do to help you expand your comfort zone. 2 things that you can begin to do to help you, break out of the limiting environment that you've put yourself. Not going out of what you're created for, but expanding your ability within the confines of your comfort zone, within the confines of what you're created for. Now, let me put a disclaimer. Expanding your comfort zone is not about, being lazy. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Because in expanding your comfort zone, the first thing that you need to do is focus your efforts. You need to be able to identify the key areas where you feel fulfilled the most, the key areas where you feel accomplished the most, the key areas where you feel your energy is being released the most. You must be able to identify those key areas. Second, you need to ask yourself, what are the things that I can do now, or in which area can I accomplish the best results? In which areas would enable me to accomplish the best result if I focus my efforts in those areas? What areas would a positive change create a ripple effect that will create bigger changes in other areas of my life? You need to be able to identify those areas and then begin to take action in those areas immediately. So if you're lazy, you will not be able to expand your comfort zone. If you make excuses, you will not be able to expand your comfort zone. So the first thing is identify your key areas. For some people, it might be speaking. For some, it might be singing. For some, it might be academia. For some, it might be caring for others. You don't have to limit yourself to what your environment expects of you. It is said that if man were to live 10 lifetimes over and over again, you will not even exhaust your potentials. So you need to understand that your potentials are limitless, but it is your responsibility to discover them. The second thing I'm going to share in today's episode that will help you expand your comfort zone is be willing to take risks. Now you've identified your key areas. You need to ask yourself, what more can I do beyond what I am already used to doing? Right? What more can I do in this area that I have identified that I am good at? I've experienced more fulfillment in. What more can I do today over and above what I did yesterday? Now, keep at it, because the more you do a little bit more every day, the bigger your comfort zone becomes. The things that you thought you would die if you did them yesterday, when you attempt them today, tomorrow it's going to be a little easier, and then the next day it becomes a little easier. Before you know it, what you used to be afraid of doing is no longer scary to you. For you, it might be negotiating a pay raise at your office. For somebody else, it might be skydiving. Okay, for somebody else, it might be trying a new meal. So don't limit yourself and your experiences. When you identify your key areas, do something every day over and above what you would have done before, right? And then keep at it. Before you know it, your comfort zone would be expanded. So these are the two key methods or two key steps that I'm going to share in this episode on how to expand your comfort zone. Listen, you are limitless. Your possibilities are endless. You are created to thrive, to enjoy life, to explore. And you limiting yourself by staying in a confined area where you feel like this is the best place to be and I can't do much more than this, I can't do any more than this, is not the best for you. The more you begin to move a little bit more each and every day, you don't have to. The challenge a lot of people have is you're trying to accomplish too much, too many things within a very little period. So you fail. Okay, you fail, and then that affects your ability to go after, your peak potentials. But if you take it piecemeal and you add a little more value to yourself every day, you do something extra than you will have done yesterday every single day, you will wake up and realize that your comfort zone, that is the area you feel ease, you feel fulfillment, right? You don't have to exert so much energy, has expanded. And then if you continue this system, you will definitely be allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission to live your best life. Now, this principle applies in every area. Whether you're trying to get a raise, or you're trying to start a new business, or you're trying to settle down maritally, or you're trying to just create better experiences for yourself in life. These two steps will take you closer to where you want to be. So this is where I'm going to draw the curtain for today's episode. Next week, I'm going to be sharing more tips that you can use in your daily life to expand your comfort zone. Until then, don't forget that you are made for more.